The following review may contain spoilers. I know there's a lot of controversies with this film involving creative license and also nepotism in Bollywood, which is apparently a huge issue. But I'm not going to get into any of that because I'm not that well versed in Indian history or pop culture. So I'm just going to review the film as it is without acknowledging any of the controversies surrounding it. The script for the most part is well written. There are two great speeches in the film. The first, when Gunjan makes a speech interrupting her fellow airmen during a party and yells at her superior about his hollow male pride. It was like all her repressed anger just exploding out at once. I'm not even a woman, and that scene felt very cathartic, so great job by the writers. The second is from Gunjan's dad when he tells her that he wanted her to have every opportunity and not to just settle and get married because society pushes her to do that. He says something to the effect of, "I wanted you to fly, not for your wings to be clipped." It's a very moving speech and one of countless examples of this father's love for his daughter and his endless support for her living her dreams in spite of all the obstacles. I must also mention that this is a great performance from Pankaj Tripathi as the father. This character must display a series of complex emotions, and Tripathi does most of that through his eyes alone. His performance is so effective that you're rooting for the dad just as much as Gunjan. But the best part of the film, and what really saves the film ultimately, I'll get to the bad points later, is how well the theme of gender equality is conveyed. It goes without saying that this real-life story is excellent material for this theme. A girl who wants to be a pilot to quote-unquote fly away from a world of misogyny and sexism. I'm not Indian, so I'm not going to sit here and make a statement about whether this is an important message for Indian society, but these messages are universal. Every country continues to battle sexism to large and small degrees, so the message of this film is very important. The filmmakers take this theme and hammer it home, genuinely rousing our emotions. This film has a series of musical montages, and they are perhaps the longest I've ever seen in a movie. There's one super long montage about Gunjan losing weight. Just a few moments of this and the information is communicated, but I think this montage goes on for what feels like 5 minutes. There's another one later in the movie as she blasts through Air Force training, and again it feels like it just goes on for 5 minutes. This movie is fast-paced, but these musical montages are the only parts where the film tends to drag a little bit. The use of music in this film is questionable. First off, it's relentless. It's in almost every scene, and it just gets tiring. But the biggest problem of this movie is that it gets really cheesy quite frequently. There are a bunch of scenes in this film that are just presented as these huge turning points, these huge moments for the characters, with slow motion and emotional music in the background. I've watched a handful of Indian films in my life, my favorite being Lagan, and I'm fully aware that these movies are made for a different audience and a different culture, and that audience is probably much more accepting of these emotionally overwrought moments. But in spite of being aware of this, the cheesiness still left a negative effect on me, but not enough of one, as the theme of this movie again is so strongly driven home. My final rating for Gunjan Saxena, the Kargil girl, is 3 stars. As of the making of this video, the Rotten Tomatoes percentage for Gunjan Saxena is 100%. Normally I would put a big X right here, but I just can't see anyone giving this a bad review, once again because the themes are so rich and strongly presented. Gunjan Saxena is an entertaining and moving film that I would recommend to any young girl with a big dream. Actually, it's probably more important for young boys to see this, as a little empathy goes a long way.